Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of the Armchair Crew Chief. My name is Jordan, and we are doing this special episode, because yesterday, October 4th, we had the 2024 NASCAR schedule release. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to start off with Truck Series, and then we're going to lump Xfinity, and we're going to lump Cup Series together. Let's go into it. Daytona. We're starting off there like we always do. February 16th. February 24th, Atlanta. That will be a Saturday. Then Friday, March 1st, at Vegas. Then Bristol. Concrete, guys. Concrete. March 16th. Circuit of the Americas, March 23rd. Martinsville, April 5th. Texas, April 12th. Kansas, May 4th. Darlington, May 10th. North Wilkesboro, May 18th. That's going to be tied in with the Cup Series All-Star. Then we have Charlotte. Then we have, that's May 24th. Then we have the Worldwide Technology, June 1st. Nashville, June 28th. Pocono, July 12th. July 19th, Indianapolis Raceway Park. Richmond, August 10th. That's the regular season finale, Start of the playoffs will be at the Milwaukee Mile, August 25th. Bristol, September 19th. Then we have Kansas, September 27th. Talladega, October 4th. Miami, 26th. Martinsville, November 1st. And November 8th at Phoenix. Going into our Cup Series in Xfinity, starting off, we have the Clash at the LA Coliseum on the 4th of February. February 15th, the Duels. Then the 17th and 18th of February, we will be at Daytona for both series. The 24th and 25th, we will be at Atlanta for both series. The 2nd and 3rd of March at Las Vegas. 9th and 10th at Phoenix. The 17th Cup Series at Bristol. Again, that is going to be concrete. That is not dirt. Circuit of the Americas, the 23rd and 24th of March. Richmond, the 30th and 31st of March. Martinsville, the 6th and 7th of April. Texas, we are there the 13th and 14th of April. Talladega, the 20th and 21st of April. Dover, 27th and 28th of April. Then we're out at Kansas for the Cup Series on the 5th of May. Xfinity has a break. Then we go to Darlington on the 11th and 12th of May for both series. All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro on the 19th of May. Xfinity will not be running. And then we have the Coke 600 on the 26th of May with the Xfinity race right before that on the 25th. Worldwide Technology on June 2nd for Cup Series. June 1st, we will be at Portland for Xfinity. Sonoma, the 8th and 9th of June. 15th and 16th of June, Iowa. June 22nd and 23rd, we are going to be at New Hampshire. June 29th and 30th, Nashville. July 6th and 7th, Chicago. July 13th and 14th at Pocono. And let me correct that. That's Chicago Street Race, not Chicagoland, for the 6th and 7th of July. July 20th and 21st, we're at Indy, non-road course, Brickyard, back again. Then we have a 2-week break there for the Olympics out in Paris. NBC's covering that, so they're taking a break from racing. The 11th of August, Cup Series will be at Richmond. Xfinity is still on break. Michigan, the 17th and 18th of August for both series. 23rd and 24th at Daytona. That's your night race. August 31st and September 1st, Darlington. September 7th, and then the 8th, which is the start of the playoff races for Cup Series. We are going to be at Atlanta. Big change there. 14th and 15th of September, Watkins Glen. The 20th and 21st, we have our night race at Bristol. 28th and 29th, Kansas. That is our start of the playoffs for Xfinity. Then the 5th and 6th of October, Talladega. The 12th and 13th of October, Charlotte. 19th and 20th of October, Vegas. 26th and 27th at Miami. 2nd and 3rd of November, Martinsville. And then our championship race, the 9th and 10th of November at Phoenix. So there you go, guys. That is your 2024 schedule for Cup, Xfinity, and Craftsman trucks. What I take out of it, I'm not a big fan of the Clash. I'm ready for that to move on to something else. Especially, you got to go all the way to the West Coast, and you got to go all the way back to the Carolinas, then go down to Florida for the Daytona 500 and everything that precedes it. Speed Week, I guess it is now, and so on. One thing that sticks out, Bristol at Concrete, that's going to be interesting to see again. I'm happy to see, the dirt was fun, but I think it's where I was welcome. North Wilkesboro again, I think that's great. I want to see what happens now since we have data for the teams on how they ran, see how it changes things up. The Chicago street race is going to be interesting because they struck a deal with Chicago where there's going to be a shorter setup and teardown time for that race. So we'll have to see what happens. Moving on to that, we have Indianapolis, which I'm really excited to see that get off the road course and back to the oval. The one thing I'm looking forward to is that September 8th race for the Cup Series, Atlanta starting the playoffs. Atlanta has moved into the playoffs. They've kicked out Richmond. I believe it was Richmond, out of the playoffs. And it's moved around. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be awesome. And then Phoenix. I'm ready for Phoenix to give up the championship crown and move on to another track. I was excited to see it for a little bit, and then let's move on. I want to see a few other races. Let's go to a track we only go once to. Dover. I know you guys don't really like it, but Dover. Excuse me. Texas gave up their, not Richmond. Big mistake on my part. Texas gave up their playoff for Atlanta. That's what it was. Texas gave up one of theirs for Circuit of the Americas. Dover gave up one of theirs for Nashville. So, let's get to one of these one races. I'm not saying let's go to Pocono. I like Pocono, but I don't think it's a playoff style track. Something like that would be interesting to see. I'd like to see the guys maybe run at Portland. I know there's something about them running out at Montreal at some point, but just the deal didn't happen out before they got the schedule done. Who do they take out if they go there? I don't know. But, Iowa on there, I'd like to see what happens there. That one's going to be on Father's Day. We are running Richmond on Easter. That's going to be an evening-night race. So we have some changes to the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'd like to see what happens. I think it's going to be fun. Hopefully they can get the rest of the car figured out because these mile and a halves kind of get dull at some point, or whoever gets out in front. And that's one case for Phoenix. If you get out in front, you're hardly surrendering. You have some fighting towards the back because you're all both in dirty air. But the issue that I've had, and I've said it a lot of times on some of these mile and a halves, is like you get out in clean air and you're gone. Nobody can come up and catch you and contend for first place unless it's a restart. Another thing that I like to see them do, which I don't think is going to happen, especially hearing Dale Jr. talk about it, I want no cautions for stage breaks for the road courses again. But under the stipulation that they fix the package, the aero package for this car, that you can actually race and fight and battle each other. You wouldn't have had that. You wouldn't have had what happened to Mark Truex Jr. in the 78 with Jimmy Johnson going into the last turn at Charlotte Roval back when Truex was leading and he was going to up and win. And then, Jimmy couldn't settle for second place and getting into the playoffs. He had to try to win it and he wrecked both of them. Stuff like that. I think it would be interesting if we had a better aero package that we could race a little bit better. With that being said, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to sit here and judge too harshly. We'll just see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen with any packages going forward. They're going to update the tires. Anything can change. So, moving on with that, we have a little bit of news that came out, and I just want to kind of cover that real quick. iRacing has picked up from 704 Games the rights for the console games, Steam. So you're like NASCAR 13, NASCAR 15, those style races. iRacing has picked that up. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that going forward. 2025, they're expecting to release a game. Hopefully it comes out, because we've been hearing a lot of rumors about, here comes a game coming in 2023, 2022. And we haven't seen anything because they just fall back and it falls flat. So I hope to see that and see what happens. I mean, that'd be great for some of us that don't want to pay a monthly subscription for iRacing, or don't even want to get that detailed into iRacing. Like, you want your kid to go around and play on it. I don't want to pay $13 a month for a 10-year-old to go out there and race when I know good and well all he's going to do is try to wreck people. I mean, it's bad enough he tries to wreck the computer when he plays some of these games. But anyway, that's one of the news that came out. The other news that came out was Hailie Deegan is going to be moving up to the Xfinity series from the Cup series, from the Truck series. I think this is a good move for her. I've been critical of her racing this year. I think maybe, David Gilliland did some stuff that hurt her when they quote-unquote babied her. But moving forward with ThorSport, ThorSport gave her a chance. They took championship-winning crew chief from Ben Rhodes and put him with her. Nothing happened. Took him back, put him back with Ben Rhodes. But she shows promise running SRX. And I know it's not as many cars, but I'm interested to see what can happen. So she's going to be running the 15 Mustang and Xfinity. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen. This is going to be her, make or break. Now, I know this team probably is not going to be contending for a championship and a lot of races. But if she can go out there and she can consistently do top 15s, top 10, something like Rajah's been doing in the trucks, that's what got me and sparked my attention with him, was how consistently he was running. Nick Sanchez, same thing. Nick Sanchez is going for a championship. But at the same time, those two racers moved up and were consistently good. Hailie Deegan, she hasn't proven herself, in my book, as a Craftsman Truck Series driver. So I want to see what happens going forward and see if maybe it can turn a positive. Because she did well in ARCA, but I know ARCA is kind of a junk. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna give her I'm gonna clean her slate, not be as critical, and we'll see what happens. After those first few races, we'll see going forward. I can't remember who. I think it was Denny Hamlin. One thing that I thought was interesting that he was talking about. These cars, the Cup Series cars, are like $300,000 to maintain and operate and purchase. It's half of that for one of these ARCA cars or even Trucks or Xfinity. So I think that's why you see a lot of moving that we've talked about in the past, about teams moving around and shuffling, or even some of these other teams coming up. Like AM is coming up to run more races. Now they do have two primary sponsors for Hailie Deegan, Airbox Incorporated and Viva Tequila Seltzer, which, I mean, that's a big change now that she's I guess you got to be of age, obviously. 21 or older before you have an alcoholic sponsor. But yeah, again, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens, and we'll go forward from that. Don't forget, guys, we have the Roval this weekend, and we'll see how that turns out. This is a cut race for Cup Series, and we'll go from there. So we'll catch you guys next week on our regular schedule, and have a good one.